But first, I want to start with something that, of course, affected me personally, affected thousands, probably millions of people around the country yesterday, and that is when Verizon experienced an outage. I want to bring in my colleague, Linda Schmidt. She's a reporter and anchor here at Fox 5. She's been covering the Verizon outage and what's going on there with that. Linda, thanks so much for really breaking this down for us.
Yeah, of course, Lisa. And you're talking about you were affected yesterday.
Yeah.
I was not affected. Now, I have Verizon, so when I was at home, obviously I was on Wi-Fi, so no
Right.
problem there. But when I left home and I was walking through the city, I still had access.
Really?
I had no problems at all.
I'm shocked.
And there were other people in the building as well here that we work with who didn't have problems either. Again, it was very sporadic. I interviewed a tech expert last night, Lance Ulanoff. I'm
Yes.
sure you know who he is.
Yes.
I mean, just an expert in this field. And he was saying, yeah, that it was very sporadic. But let's go ahead and take a look at the that outage map, Vinny. Okay, now everything that's all in red
Wow.
there, we were showing this yesterday. I mean, the entire East Coast, and then it starts to go into Middle America, got as far west as California. But the major hubs that it ended up affecting, right here in New York, Philly, Miami, and Houston. That's what they are saying today. Now, the number of people who were actually impacted, though, Lisa, we still don't know the exact number because Verizon is not giving out that information yet at this point. Some are saying the number looks to be about 200,000. Now, they've got about 146 million customers. So you figure out of 146 million customers, 200,000, that's kind of a drop in the bucket. But
Right.
for anybody who was affected, it was a major
No, it was
deal
crazy.
yesterday.
I think a lot of people had what I had. I was doing an interview, and then I looked down at my phone, and I'm like going, how did it get on SOS? Because it was
Right.
saying SOS. So then I was like, okay, let me Google how to get out of SOS on an iPhone.
Right.
So I did the hard restart, the whole thing, and it's still on SOS. And it's
Right.
like toggle the airplane mode. I tried that, and that
Right.
didn't really work either. So it was, but the Wi-Fi, when I was in Wi-Fi, I could still use my phone, but
Right.
not to make calls.
But it was, extremely frustrating for anybody
yeah.
who has to use their phone, especially for work.
Right.
But I want to go ahead and take a look here because Verizon posted on X this morning, and here's the statement. It's a lengthy statement, but look at the part that's highlighted in yellow there. They're saying, quote, "We will give you a $20 account credit that can be easily redeemed by logging into the My Verizon app. You will receive a text message when that credit is available." And then they go on to say, if you're still having trouble connecting, please restart your device. So number one, people still could be having problems, interruptions today, and they're saying just turn your phone off and turn
Right.
it back on again. And also to try and appease people who were so inconvenienced by this yesterday, they're saying they're going to give them a $20 credit. Now, I don't know that a $20 credit is going to satisfy
Well, they said in
people.
the statement. They said in
Right.
the statement, this is not going to accommodate. I know, because I was trying to connect with my cameraman,
Right.
and he was on Verizon, and then the desk gave him one of the company phones, the spares,
Right.
and all that. Everything worked out fine, but it was just like it's a crazy feeling to not be able to use your phone to make a phone call.
That's right, and we're so reliant on that technology
Totally,
now.
totally.
Not just personally, but for work.
For everything. And Linda, the other thing too is that my cameraman yesterday, he goes, I think I'm going to have to get paper maps in the live truck. What if there's a big outage and we have to go somewhere to get, to report the story?
That's right.
And they say, well, there's like a major outage in a certain location.
Sure.
And I said, that's a great idea. That's like old school, going back to the beginning, right? The beginning
Which is
of
what
our careers.
we used to have stacks
of hacks from
maps.
map books, right?
That's right.
And then even when I was working night side and there were a lot of crime going on, I was covering a lot of crime. We had
Right.
a system of black dots for murders, red dots for shootings.
Right,
So we
right.
knew what was going. The maps were, one book was pretty bad.
But can you imagine that? Us having to go back to actual physical maps where you have to open the pages and look at the maps, and then you got to go, wait, you're on this page now, but you got to go to page 8 to continue to get to where it is that you're going?
That's a great point. And then some people were saying to me today, this morning, they were going, well, you know what? I think I'm going to get a hardline phone in my apartment or my
Right.
home because of it. But it's also too, it's like when you think of like all of the technology that's on our phone, all the information that's on our phone, and even like in the car, like in my car, I have CarPlay and
Right.
it plugs in, and then that's the locator, and then I can still
That's
make
right.
calls and receive calls safely on the way everything is set up. And then none of that was working.
Right.
So it was like a whole different drama. But have we heard anything at all about what the possible causes were.
Verizon's not saying anything at this point about the cause. Now, we've been hearing, rumblings that it could have been just like a major malfunction with some hardware, or maybe somebody even uploaded the wrong code, something like that. Okay, so some type of software issue. Because immediately when something like that happens, everybody's mind goes to
hackers,
it's been
the
hacked.
H word.
Yeah,
hackers.
that's right, some type of cyber attack. But again, the expert that I interviewed last night said they knew early on that it wasn't a cyber attack. He's saying this had to be something that was some type of malfunction within the company.
Like maybe engineering
Operator
or
error, something like that. So we're going to have to wait and see. But, it lasted for 10 hours.
I know. We finished the story, filed everything, and then it was still off.
Yeah.
By the time
They said, they tweeted, or I keep saying tweet, but they posted it on X last night at 10:30 that they had resolved the issue. However, in the statement today that they put on X, they're saying if you're still having problems, which means some people could still be having problems with this, turn off your phone, just reboot it, turn it off, and turn it back on again. And hopefully that works.
But I think it's also, too, it's just a reminder to us of how dependent we are on these phones.
Oh, absolutely.
And just in terms of paying, and you have your Apple Pay or whatever you're paying with digitally on your phone, and all of these things.
Our lives are on the phone. Our lives are on our phone, and when they go down, it's chaos.
So big $20 for the people that were income. I'm gonna have to register for my $20.
Yeah, $20 bill coming your way.
I mean, it's a nice gesture, but
I know, but customers
with
are
a
not gonna
$200
be
a month
satisfied.
bill, that's not exactly.
No, that's right. And in fact, last night I went live near the headquarters in Midtown, for the 10 o'clock news last night here in the city. And while I was getting ready, I'm in my, one of the trucks, live trucks for us, and I'm riding and doing research. And all of a sudden, this young couple, they tap on my window. And I put the window down. She's like, "Are you guys doing a story on this Verizon thing tonight?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, do me a favor. Tell the company that I want a credit, and I want a major credit, because I use my phone, I use it for work, and I wasn't able to work today at all because of what was happening."
And I think that's
now,
a big
that's
thing.
just one woman. That's just, saying that. So that's going to be the feeling of most of the people who lost their services.
A lot of the comments online, where I couldn't work, I lost work, and especially for people that are freelance or people that work remotely, they needed that.
That's right. And people who are freelance, if you don't work, you don't get paid that day.
Right. Exactly.
So what's $20 going to do?
Exactly. So will we see a push towards hardline phone? If you can even get one installed now, I don't even know where you were called to get one installed.
I have to tell you though, I still have my landline at home. I never got it disconnected, because after 9/11 and covering 9/11, so many people lost access to the cell phone service because
it was jammed. The whole thing was jammed.
And also there were, the towers on top of the Twin Towers that went down and were destroyed. So I decided at that point to keep my landline. Well, we didn't even really know that much about cell phones at that point, but I decided even in the years after to keep my landline in the event of an emergency. I just keep it.
No, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
So, but you're right. Like, could you even get a landline?
Like I had one, and I got rid of it, so the apartment's still wired for it, but I don't know.
Right,
it's,
right.
After
You'll be
yesterday,
out shopping for a phone.
Where would I even get a phone? Where would I even?
I know. Where would
you have to go to the guy. You have to go to the guys that sell miscellaneous items on the street on a blanket. And do you have like one of those old phones that has that jack that just just pops into it? But I mean, the technology is just is unbelievable when it works. When it
works, it's amazing. And when you think about it, when it does go down, it is very infrequent.
Right.
But because we are so reliant on it, if it goes down just once, it's a major, major issue. And when we don't know what the cause is, then you have all of these conspiracy theories and ideas about what's happening out there, and immediately, again, it goes to a cyber attack. But they're saying that's not the case in this situation.
And my phone said you could still make I didn't try it, of course, because of what was going on. But you can make a 911 call. That was.
So you said you could?
Yes, because you have settings on your phone. If you have an iPhone, you can go in and you can have. There's different settings in the security settings. I can show you after the show. There's different security settings, so it can detect if you're in a crash.
Okay.
It can automatically call It can automatically call for help if you're in a crash. It can call, it automatically call 911. There are a couple different
All right.
choices,
Okay.
selections that you can have, and it's one of those things with the, I don't know if it's in the newest, the iOS 26, if it's the newest upgrade, but I have that on
okay.
my phone, and
Oh,
I
okay.
saw it was the first time I saw that.
Oh,
so,
all right. Yeah, you're going to
yeah.
have to show me that later
Yeah.
on. But it's interesting that you bring that up because in New York City, they said that was one of the issues. They said that you might have not have been able to call 911. And then in the event, because again, we're so reliant on the cell phones, if
Right.
you're unable to call 911 on the cell phone, the commissioner of New York City Office of
OEM,
Emergency,
right?
yeah, Office of Emergency Management, Zach Iskel yesterday said the other things that you would do in the event that you don't have access to 911, obviously try to find somebody with a landline or use somebody else's phone that doesn't have the same service as you.
A different
Yesterday,
carrier,
it was
right.
a different carrier. And the other thing too, you can always go to your local firehouse if it's nearby,
Right.
it's convenient for you, or the police department if you have a 911 emergency.
Right.
But I mean, how many people are that close to their precinct or their firehouse?
Right, and if you're in an emergency situation, it's like you may not be
Right.
able to move, you may not be,
That's right.
or whatever.
But
so,
those are the only other things that you can really do
yeah.
if you don't have your cell and can't call
Unless you
911.
get one of the have one of the health alert things that they have for seniors,
Oh, right.
or
right.
you have,
Yeah.
like that,
So
or you
we're
have
still
Wi-Fi in your
waiting.
house and you can get email and you email them or
Right.
text them
Right. Right.
like that.
So